That's part of what a professional person does. They make things a priority that they'd rather not, but they're going to go get the result. Imagine a doctor. You go to the hospital, you got a compound fracture in your arm. And you say, doctor, help. He's like, oh shit, man, that's a bummer, bro. I said, man, I just about to take my lunch break. And then the game's on this afternoon, so you just go bleed over here for a while, and I'm not in the right mood right now. So I'm gonna go take my break, and if I feel like it later, I'm gonna come check up on you.
And I want to hop on here and share a couple quick things that I've gotten from this, because this program is just incredible. It's the best way to describe it is it's an experience. And I can't believe the kind of program that Derek has been able to build and how they make it so easy for you to connect with other ambitious people that are in the group and people who work hard, people who are very serious about their life, people who've done amazing things in their life. There's like one person in here who sold software to Google for $250,000. It's really just a community of winners. If you care at all about being around people who are ambitious, then this is the kind of group you should join. And you really can't put a price on that. How much would you pay for an important relationship? A relationship you can spend 5, 10, 15, 20 years with? Like, how much is that worth to you? It's probably priceless. So many more opportunities that are opened up to you for just being around the right people. So that's a big one, first and foremost, kind of people you meet in this program. And that's really with any of Derek Moneyberg's programs, really. Some of my best friends, my business partner have all come from his ecosystem. And I'm just forever grateful for the way he's been able to set this up.
On a man's 30th birthday, an even more evil thing happens. It's the last moment that anybody's going to give you the benefit of the doubt or have any softness for you again. Who's 30 plus years old here? You guys been hearing, after you turn 30, you've been hearing a whole lot about your potential? When you're a young guy, they say, oh, you got so much potential. Oh, what a good guy, he's got so much potential. Are any of the guys in here, you've been hearing a lot about your potential recently? Yeah. Anybody else 30 plus been here, oh, he's got so much potential? No, nobody gives a fuck. It's like, what has this guy accomplished so far? And then a strong bias towards what has he done recently? What has this person accomplished with their life so far? In a strong, strong bias, like an old Janet Jackson song that was popular around the time you were born. You know the song, what have you done for me lately? Yeah, all the old guys know the song, see that? Now that song will play in your head. Yeah, if you wanted to take up archery, are you any good at archery?
No.
Okay, if you wanted to take up archery, would you have would you be skillful at that like you are at swimming on your first day? Or, no, well, I'm not good at it either, so I imagine I'd be mediocre. I understand the concept at least. I'm actually quite good with a pistol or rifle or shotgun, so I at least understand the concept enough that I might figure it out a bit quicker, but probably I'm going to look like a jack-off for a while, and if you and I decide to go do that together, we're probably going to look stupid for a while before it looks good. Right. It's just part of the process. It's just part of the process. You're going to look like a jack-off at anything new that you try. It's difficult before it gets easy. And the guys that push through that get way better at it. Way better at it than like a so-called natural or somebody that had a natural skill set or adapted to something relatively easily. Because that person won't push themselves too hard. They just take it for granted, like, oh yeah, I got that shit. I'm good enough. I'm not going to focus on it. So the person that earns that skill set in whatever area, you appreciate it more. You'll work harder than somebody that got it easy because you're prideful about it later, and rightfully so. And right now, just pay your dues for a couple weeks, dude. It's going to look stupid and feel stupid for a couple weeks. It'd be like fucking a weak motherfucker that goes to the gym, a little skinny weak bitch that goes to the gym, and he hasn't been lifting weights, and maybe never lifted weights. And, the first couple weeks is just going to be miserable for him. Everything's sore, your body's sore, your brain is fatigued, everything's fatigued. Little fucking muscles, you don't even know what the fuck they're called, or didn't even know they were there, but they hurt now. So you have a new awareness. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And then what happens, though, if you went to the gym for like 2 weeks and you look in the mirror, it's not much difference. It looks pretty much like you looked 2 weeks ago. But that same person, if they could push through that, by about day 30, you start to see some pretty fucking significant difference. And your body's adjusted, your brain's adjusted, your recovery time is a lot quicker. You don't have the same lactic acid build up and that fatigue and soreness. And that's where you're at. It's just like you're in the front end of that. Like if you don't give up in the first 2 weeks and you just accept the process, then you're going to hit an inflection point around 2 weeks that, my brain's adjusting faster, my tolerance for this abuse is getting better and better. It doesn't sting the same way that it did. And about 30 days in, you're just like, oh shit, I'm actually getting great results. I'm actually seeing some real results now. But then you double down on that, and and then it just gets better, 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 better. This is no different than that. It's the same process, but it stings a guy's emotions, and and maybe it stings your emotions more because do you know you're a pretty good-looking guy? Yeah, yeah, I'm sure. So maybe it stings your emotions more. It's like, man, this is supposed to be easier, and it will be easier. It will be easier for you than some other guys, but you got to go through that process first and pay your dues. And you have great results, like literally a month from now. If you went out aggressively the next fucking month, literally a month from now, you have a lot better results. You're just getting in your own way, and it's sad to watch because I know what your potential could be. I really know what your potential could be, and it's sad to watch this procrastination. Is like, it's like imagine the fucking swimmer guy that's like, oh, the pool is cold. I don't want to. I mean, there must be somebody like that they could have been a fantastic swimmer, but they just wouldn't get in the fucking water and take that first shiver and get on with it. How's it going to turn out for that guy? Is he going to?
It's not good.
No. So you just got to get past that part, man. You just got to get past that part. All the rest of the ingredients are there, but you got to get past that part. And the longer you procrastinate, you're stretching out the misery. You're stretching out the misery unnecessarily. You're going to suffer more for a longer period of time, which might actually harm your self-esteem on a longer time horizon, instead of just being like, you know what, I'm trying something new. Of course, I'm going to look like a dumb fuck for a while. And after I get past those little emotional things and looking stupid and feeling stupid, I'm not going to judge. You could go out and do any sort of nonsense. I wouldn't judge you negatively at all, and I don't think anybody else here would. Is like, if you're out there trying and doing the right things, like I know the process and I know what will happen afterwards, and like it's going to look bad before it gets good. The worst thing you could do is what you're doing is procrastinating and making yourself, creating neural pathways to like, I'm not very good at this. I should just settle for whatever. I imagine you go to the gym a fair bit, yeah? Yeah. Is it painful for you to do that now, or it's just part of your routine? Just that's what you do. Yeah. Yeah. It'd be more painful to not go to the gym. It'd bother you more, if a guy works out a bit, it'd bother you more to not go to the gym. If you weren't allowed to go to the gym for 10 days, you'd be like, what the fuck? It'd start bothering you. So I'm not strict with my diet at all, as you can see, but I do make it to the gym 4 days a week and lift heavy shit, and it'd feel really weird to me if I didn't, like if I went 3 days in a week, it'd be like, I just wouldn't allow that to happen, So it's just the same. It's easier to keep the momentum than to not do it, And this is the same type of thing, man. There's nothing different about it. But, you got to pay that first. Pay the price on the front end, and you're going to get great results. But just pay that price on the front end. Nobody's judging you for that. The only person judging you for that is you. I'm not. They're not. We're just like, dude, go do the fucking thing. And like, when you get past that, about the time that you accept, this is the one thought that you have to change. About the time you accept, I'm going to look stupid for a month or so, and you just accept that, and then you can put your ego aside a bit or put your defenses down a little bit, and if you had the expectation, well, I'm going to look a little bit stupid for a month or two, but I'm going to go talk to these girls and do my reps and sets, and I'll get over it someday. And about the time you just change that one thought in your head and accepted that in the short term, you start getting better results immediately. And then you start having a positive feedback cycle where, oh, that's all you got to do. Change that one thought in your head. And you're in an environment, as grumpy as I am, you're in an environment that's very supportive of this. It's like, dude, I want you to win. The other guys want you to win, for that matter. Just shift that one thought in your head. Give yourself permission to look stupid tonight. Give yourself permission. It's like, you know what? I'm not going to be concerned about my feelings. I'm just going to do what I logically know I'm supposed to do. And if I look dumb, it's part of the process. No worries. No worries. You're not supposed to hit every basket or, hit the fucking bullseye every time on your archery. Don't worry about it. Part of the process. Getting a feel for it. About the time you allow yourself to relax like that, you're going to get better results. If you try to force it, then you'll get stuck back in your head. So just accept the process, dude. Just accept the process. If you're in a professional environment, the work related, then just accept that 30-40% of your salary is dependent on playing that role and pretending to agree with shit that you don't agree with, and making things a priority that sometimes you couldn't care less about. And that's part of what a professional person does, is they tolerate abuse, and they make things a priority that they'd rather not, but they're going to go get the result. It's really what a pro at anything is like a professional person is going to get the result no matter what. They're not worried about, oh, I'm not in the right mood. Imagine a doctor. You go to the hospital, you got a fucking compound fracture in your arm. You're holding your fucking arm with a bone sticking out, and every time your heart beats, a little blood shoots out like a rainbow. Imagine you show up at the hospital, at the emergency room, and you say, doctor, help. He's like, oh shit, man, that's a bummer, bro. I said, man, I just about to take my lunch break. And then the game's on this afternoon, so you just go bleed over here for a while, and I'm not in the right mood right now. So I'm gonna go take my break and have some lunch, check out the game, and if I feel like it later, I'm gonna come check up on you. Is that what a doctor does? Yeah. Does an Olympic athlete, can they only do the thing when they feel like it, or are they a master of I'm gonna do the thing no matter what?
Right, you got to do it every day, no matter what.
Yeah. Can you even be around like quality coaches or quality teammates if you weren't holding yourself to that standard?
No, you wouldn't be able to keep up with your training group. You'd have to train at a lower level, so you wouldn't be on the same playing ground at all.
They wouldn't even associate with somebody
Right.
who wasn't willing to show up and be like, couldn't give a shit what kind of mood they're in. Like, I'm here and we're gonna do the thing.
Right.
That's what a professional person is. So, if you want to get pro results at anything, if a doctor, a swimmer, or anything, if you want to get pro results at anything, it don't matter. It's just irrelevant what some random asshole thinks about you. And regarding a job type thing, though, I think it's the worst thing. I can't say without sounding extremely condescending, I feel bad for anybody here that has a job. Because I know what's going to happen in the next 10 years. I know that might happen. It's happening right now. I feel bad for anybody here that has a job. They're fucked. They're fucked. If you don't have specialized relationships, if you don't have high-level skill sets that a robot can't do, and if you don't have high-quality specialized relationships with other people with similar skill sets, you guys are fucked. There's no other way to say it. There's no polite way of saying that. You guys are fucked, and nobody else is going to say it to you. So, get out of that shit right now to the extent that you're like, well, in my career, I have to I have to seem professional in my career and blah, blah, blah. It's like, no, those people are fucked. I know you're talking about real estate and other things, so this is not a criticism of you at all, but for the people that aren't thinking like that, aren't thinking about entrepreneurial things, aren't building, the two statistics that should scare the shit out of you guys is, the average millionaire, not a billionaire, not the world's first trillionaire, the average millionaire got that money from seven income streams. 7. And the average age at which a millionaire becomes a millionaire, there's 2 studies on this, is 62 or 63. 62 years old, 63 years old. And they earned money from 7 places to go do that. And there's a few millionaires in the room here with us, and my buddy Phil that I don't see at the moment. And nobody here is 63. So, you're not going to get that from doing normal people shit. And the people that aren't thinking about that, $1 million is not a lot of money. What kind of real estate can you buy in San Francisco with $1 million?
Maybe a studio.
Yeah. No, I think I'd say this kind of as a joke, but it's also painfully true. Is in Manhattan, you can't even buy a decent place.
Buy half a studio.
Yeah, you could buy a shitty studio in Harlem for $1 million. You're not going to stay you're not staying in the good parts of Manhattan.
Parking spot in the good part of Manhattan.
You could buy a nice parking spot. You could buy a great parking spot in Manhattan for $1 million. So actually though. So, Brandon and I, half of this joke is from Brandon and half of it is something that I said that he elaborated on. That So Brandon Carter and I were talking about this, and I said, you can't buy a fucking decent place in Manhattan that, normal sales price is, 1.7, 1.8 million for an average place. All right, and then, so for $1 million, you could buy like a studio in Harlem. All right, and then he added to that, and he's like, yeah, and that'd be the kind of neighborhood in Harlem that, like, when you walk out the door with your girl, there's some guy standing outside at all hours smoking hookah, and smoking weed or smoking hookah. And it's the type of guy that's got a tattoo on his neck, and when you walk outside, he's gonna slap your bitch on the ass, and you ain't gonna do nothing about it because it's that type of guy. So that's what you get for $1 million in Manhattan. $1 million, I think things are getting started at $1 million. Now you have a foundation that you don't have to go, work, and you can start thinking about financial planning and building something, yeah? So, I feel bad for people that aren't thinking that way. You'll see. You'll see. Number one cause of divorce. What's the number one reason people break up, get divorced?
Money.
So if you think that don't matter, I'm not talking to you, but anybody that thinks that don't matter, Derek's always talking about money. Yeah, because I grew up poor, and I didn't want to stay that way. And, I seen my parents fight about money when I was a kid all the time. They were always arguing about money. And, it wasn't good. It was the number one reason people break up. So, how many of you grew up in one of those households parents were fighting about money? Yeah. So, fuck that. So, yeah, go get some. Regarding getting rid of those filters is like, you got to be involved and double down on those entrepreneurial things that you're thinking about. Just double down on that early, man. Okay, you got to be, if your income is dependent on some bitch-ass job, I don't think a rational person is ever going to be super secure, super confident, super secure. Now, an irrational person could lie to themselves and say they got job security, and then one day, and their girl thinks so too, and then one day they get, their job gets displaced one way or another, shift in an industry, shift in a labor market, some crazed political correct nonsense, who knows what, And that motherfucker is going to get laid off, and he's going to go home and tell his girl, and they're going to cry together, and then she's going to leave him soon after. And she's going to tell him that day, don't worry, baby, we're going to figure it out. But he's going to feel depressed. He's going to feel uncertain about his identity, who he is. He's like, I thought my job, everything's supposed to be good. I had my job, everything's supposed to be good. I went to college, I did all the things they told me I was supposed to do, everything's supposed to be good. And then he's going to it's going to ding his self-esteem. She's going to be supportive for a couple days. And then a couple months are going to go by, and she's going to be tired of looking at this pathetic bitch wallowing around, can't get himself together. I don't think anybody has the right to feel confident without having multiple income streams. They're delusional if they are. Without multiple income streams, that person's delusional. So you're working on that, okay? So that shit's good. And then, I had a conversation with Mark Cuban about this about 9-10 years ago. And, I asked him, we were in Washington, D.C., and he did a chat there, and it's a bunch of guys trying to kiss his ass and get his attention. And I kind of talked over them, it's a bunch of Harvard MBA types. And I said, Mark, you're an asshole, and I'm a bit of an asshole myself. And something I'd like to ask you about the opportunity cost of communicating openly with other people, blah, blah, blah. And so he and I were walking across the street from one building to another, and I spent 12, 15 minutes with him and his bodyguard, and we just went into a little room and had a little private chat together. And the main takeaway that I got from that conversation is I said, there's times in my life where I'm sure that I've been around people that if we took more time and got to know each other, we could have had some little transactional relationship and made a little money and done something together and had some artificial bullshit relationship in the short term that would have been profitable to both of us. I said, on the other hand, Mark, I'm also sure by being a bit more brash or communicating more openly that I've alienated and offended many of those people that I could have had those little one-off transactional relationships with. But I'm equally certain, perhaps more certain, that some of my best friends and the best relationships in my life, the reason those people came to like me is because they knew I wasn't full of shit, because they knew that we were going to have an authentic relationship. And a lot of my wealthiest friends or more famous friends, that was the most valuable thing that I could have provided them. They didn't need more money. they quite frankly looked out for me or were interested in spending time with me because they knew we could have a real relationship, And they'd like somebody. It's very valuable to someone like that, to a very attractive girl, or to a guy that has, positions of authority, power. It's very attractive to that person to have somebody around that's not full of shit. This, very rare for them to find somebody that's not lying to them and blowing smoke up their ass. So, anyway, I asked you his opinion about that. And, Mark said, he's like, look, man, there might be 2 or 3 deals in your life that there's something at stake that's so big or so important, so life-changing to you that you might want to lie, cheat, or steal and do whatever is necessary to make sure those 2 or 3 deals go through. And he said, if you did that well, you could do whatever the fuck you want to with the rest of your life. And that's about word for word, his commentary about it. Now, that's a sample size of 1, but it's a guy that, he's lived his life with a lot of freedom. He's done quite well financially. I don't know what he's worth right now, $5 billion or thereabouts. So I thought it was a useful reference point. It's one that rattles around in my head on occasion.
If you didn't like this video, please feel free to unfollow. My clients and I celebrate when the wrong person leaves our lives. But if you did like this video, if you're a person that's dedicated to success, dedicated to a better life, make sure you like and subscribe. I have a lot more to share with you. I look forward to seeing you at one of my live events in the future, or as a client on one of my paid mentoring programs.